If you could all, I encourage you, if you take your seats, I want to encourage everybody in the outer circle. We're welcome to have you join on the inner bit. It's a little bit unfriendly to have you in the distance. So thank you so much indeed. We encourage you to take a seat at the table. There's a seat at the table for everybody that comes to the GEC.
And for our group in the back here, that extends to you as well. If you're kicking the tires and want to kind of evaluate and duck out, feel free to stay there, but we've got seats at the table available.
Wonderful. So first of all, I'm going to begin by saying, how many of you are currently involved in GEW? Okay, I think you missed the question, because I know you are. We've got some others that are here to consider getting involved in GEW, I hope, which is great. First of all, I want to just say the reason we do this around this table is we do many things around this table that we think are important global connectivity pieces. And obviously, Global Entrepreneurship Week is really the flagship program that allowed us to bring together communities around the world to celebrate entrepreneurship. And we're going to, and you'll see the history of this table is that we have it always at the GEC. And so it's an opportunity for us to bring nations together, often people that their political leaders are fighting, but they're here together to work out how do we inspire and engage more entrepreneurs. But since we've got some new actors here, I'll just make sure everybody knows what Entrepreneurship Week is. It's essentially 1 week where we celebrate entrepreneurs, 40,000 events, 10 million people. And in essence, each November, we start off with a mission of figuring out how do we get more citizens in everybody's community to consider the path of entrepreneurship. So we have these national campaigns, and they're organized by many partners. I had someone come up to me just now that said how much their GEW campaign in Muncie, Indiana. Anybody from Indiana? Okay, great. Oh, that's right. My co-founder, by the way, Jen, is from Indiana. Did you all know that? There you go. And we are, but to point out that he said the power of bringing the community together for that time, but they have many partners, 70 partners, and they put on a series of activities for the rest of the community. So it's very important to mention. I often say to people, think of it, if we are all from Muncie, Indiana, okay, I've picked it now, and we're standing here and we're all different, we have different roles in our community, but we decide that we're going to host a campaign. And we're going to sit here and look at each other around this table, and we're going to talk about what that campaign is. What words do we use? What activities do we have? You know, what do we do when? How do we get the schools involved? How do we get young people, old people, people from communities that have often been left out of much of the conversation? And we make a plan, but then you know what? We stand up and we face outside of this circle, and we go to work on reaching those people. So this is not about bringing together the existing entrepreneurship community to meet each other, because you already know each other and you have interconnections throughout the year. Occasionally it's useful for that purpose, but it's really about you coming together and working out how do we reach the other 90% of our community that has no idea that entrepreneurship is actually a very powerful force for so many important things we're trying to do in our community. Of course, we want to create jobs. Of course, we're looking to build our local economy. We're looking to create opportunity for people who are feeling not included, but we're also, at the same time, solving problems. As many politicians tell me in private, I'm not entirely sure how many jobs we're creating because I don't have the data, but I know one thing for sure. Everybody that goes through a GEW experience or goes through a startup experience is going to be more employable for having had that experience of trying to do it on their own. So essentially, then I go backwards here. I'm going to go through a couple of things about the national campaigns that we put on. So first of all, what is a successful national campaign? Well, it's one that reaches and engages all parts of the country. It has a large number of events run by a large number of partners, and of course has a large number of participants. If we're trying to reach 90% of the country that is currently not involved in entrepreneurship or is not experimented with that, then you clearly need to have a great number of participants involved. You want to have some high-profile events, so you're sort of attracting the media. You want to make sure that you've got well-known VIPs and brands involved in it to attract attention. And you want to be able to collaborate with the other community members and programs in country. By that I mean, as you know, in GEN, some countries we have 9 or 10 programs alongside Global Entrepreneurship Week. If you're not working with those programs, for example, Startup Huddle, it doesn't make sense to be doing that. Everybody who's working under the compass in your country should be part of your campaign. We want them to be led, of course, by one organization to make sure that it's coordinated, but it usually is the work of multiple organizations. And we want to make sure that that organization is already active year-round in the startup ecosystem, that it's got a large network, and indeed, if you're assessing whether or not your organization can lead GEW in your country, you want to make sure that at the same time you have the credibility and ability to be able to leverage sponsorship, government grants, and others to try to fund the campaign in country. This gives an example of some of the organizations that are already national hosts in their country. We have, obviously you can see there, ranging from JA Worldwide to Sabrai in Brazil, that was a winner of last night's award, Futurepreneur in Canada, and so on and so forth. And these organizations, or their local chapters, are the ones that have taken on that responsibility and have fit with some of those criteria. You heard us also recognize in the Queen Rainier Center for Entrepreneurship in Jordan, for example, just as an example. So what do these organizations do? Well, essentially their primary role is to execute the national campaign. They don't organize events themselves. You're going to hear this said maybe a dozen times. Don't organize, catalyze. Okay, the goal here is to get as many organizations involved in the campaign as you can. Your job is to coordinate all the organizations, not to get one organization and to organize one event. It's a common misperception. People say, oh, I've done GEW in my country, and we look at it and it's one organization organizing one event. That's not a national campaign. That's an event, which is great. It's part of, wonderful to have the event, to include people, but it's not what we look for in our GEW hosts. We do look for organizations that naturally upgrade and report their data through the GEW website. If we're trying to be global, and if you're trying to engage your community in the global ecosystem, it's very important you're operating off the same platform. And that's the reason why we track everything through one website. So as I said, you manage the campaign, you manage the brand and make sure that the official GEW logo and brand identity for your country is being followed. And then you obviously manage the communications part of it. How do you talk about the partners, their events? How do you engage the media? How do you help collectively promote it to citizens at large in the country? And how do you make sure that you are engaging well-known entrepreneurs, celebrities, and governments in the campaign? We do also ask hosts to collect metrics and to do some evaluations. We naturally evaluate the campaigns. We're trying to figure out how we can make them successful in the future. And we do require the host campaigns to utilize, as I mentioned, the website provided to you by the GEW Global team, and that is made available to you for administrative access. And it helps you to manage not just the publish the partner content and logos, but also to engage your community with others around the world. There's an opportunity for anybody, as you know, to join the Gen Network. It's free. Once you're in there, some people elevate, become certified at different roles within our network, but most people are just there to find out who else is working in this space and to connect with them through your favorite social media channel. I'm just going to summarize 8 things to success, and then today I'm going to turn over to Mark, who has really run GEW since we, I guess, kicked it off in the Coffin Foundation in 2008, or even before, 2007, I guess. Just to mention some of the things, and these are the things that you told us, previous hosts who come together, who've done good campaigns, achieve results, and these are the things that have been the most important tactics to emphasize for success. The first one is, I think that's it. The first one is designing a program that appeals to a wide public audience. Again, your goal is not to appeal to just small businesses and others who are helping small businesses. That's nice, and it's good that you're getting to collaborate, but why don't you collaborate on a different mission? Your collaboration and the spirit that brings you together is how do we reach the rest of the country? And I can tell you, if you're running a program or you're running an entrepreneur support program or you're a government leader, the first thing that you're going to want to do is something, you're incentivized to do something that's going to drive more traffic into your program, okay? Everybody wants more people knocking at the door of their startup weekend or whatever the activity is they're doing. So you should be motivated, all the organizations should be motivated by this mission, which is to make sure that you appeal to a wide audience, because this is about scale. You can obviously, in doing that, provide the strategic guidance for the campaign. Obviously, you're catalyzing, recruiting as many partners as possible. You're coalescing an advisory board that can make sure that you've identified the right communities, but more importantly, the people to reach them, and that you can build this coalition of strategic partners that reach the demographics outside of your base audience. We're going to, I guess, go through each of these and hear from someone one by one. Shall I just summarize them and then come back to hearing the case studies, Mark?
I want to hear from Wi-Fi in Algeria.
Do we want to run through them first, or do you want to just?
I think we'll take them one by one. So we'll pause for a case study. So we've kind of given you a bit of information, but as you saw by the show of hands earlier, there are a lot of experienced people around this table. You all have been running, GEW campaigns. Most of you nationally, some of you more locally. But there's a lot of experience around this table, and so we want to make sure that we're spotlighting, some of these success stories and case studies within each of these 8 tactics. So this is going to be kind of like an open discussion. We want to kind of pull information from all of you, though, and give the opportunity. But on this first tactic, we're going to turn to our colleague from Algeria for a quick overview.
So, hello everyone. Hi, my name is Wafa. I'm from Gen, Algeria. I'm really honored to be here. This is my first time in front of a global community, and please tell me that I'm hiding mine. I'm very nervous right now. I hope I'm hiding it well. So, before anything, I'd like to take a moment to actually really talk about the person who really founded the GEW Algeria, who brought it to Algeria, and will live by her vision up until now, Miss Fatiha Rajdi. She brought GEW Algeria in 2011, and she had a vision, of a certain impact that we live by up until now, and without her, I don't believe that the success of the GEW Algeria would have happened. So this is very, very simple. Her philosophy was, we empower local actors, we work with governmental institutions while really being embedded in the ecosystem. So first and foremost, we're gonna talk about GEW 2024. Last year, we had a reach of 6,000, almost more than 6,200 activities during the week. It was they were complete across 58 provinces of Algeria, which means basically around the country. 88,500 participants engaged in person and online. There were hybrid activities, in-person activities and online activities, depending on the partners. We had and thanks to, actually, the success of the GEW Algeria goes mostly to our partners. More than 880 partners across the country. 40 plus universities, student incubators, governmental agencies, entrepreneur clubs, les chambres de commerce, and innovation hubs. They went from very ambitious young people to very much experienced people who really want to leave an impact within the GEW. So in 2024, that was actually made possible under the high patronage of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of the Knowledge Economy and Startups and Micro Enterprises. They were key allies in making entrepreneurship a nation priority. All right, so can we go to the second slide? Thank you so much. You have to understand, in Algeria, Gen Algeria works as a catalyst. We do not centralize the activities in Gen Algeria. We really push our local and our national actors of the ecosystem to actually pick their activities, organize them themselves, fund them themselves, and basically this pushes every single one of them to actually bring the impact that they want to bring within the local, different local ecosystems. Algeria is divided in several regions that are very different from one to another. There are especially that it's basically divided into two parts, the north and the south. The south is one of, basically it's not very much populated, but at the same time they want to have maximum impact and have most access to the information. So we try to push them to do more and more of these activities, and the GEW has been a very big inspiration to all of that. So from pitch competitions to exhibitions, policy forums, all under the theme of entrepreneurship is for everyone last year. And that theme has become more of a strategy than actually just a theme that we follow. As I said, our model is fully decentralized. Gen Algeria, we only act as catalysts, and we actually push our partners, our several amazing partners, very diverse, very different, to organize their own activities. We also built momentum through recognition. We highlighted outstanding local partners nationally, and the ministry's involvement added a lot of value and helped with more engagement, gathering ecosystem actors into one big opening ceremony to mark the start of this beautiful week. I think my time is ended. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm open to them.
Thank you, Wafi. That was really great for the overview of your campaign and kind of where you're headed in 2025. So when we think about forming leadership and planning committees, essentially your GW campaign has only one simple mission, and that is to plan an outstanding campaign in November where all your players are engaged and working together. So a few questions. Ask yourself, who are the leading local and national organizations that focus on promoting and fostering entrepreneurs in your public and private sectors? Where are they not present, and how can we reach them? How can we reach those audiences? And do they bring additional knowledge or expertise? And so we will be hearing from Denmark, from Peter Kofler, our GW host, to talk more about that.
Hey, everyone. I'll talk a little bit about what we did last year on GEW, which was an extraordinary campaign, and how we'll approach it this year. I chair Danish Entrepreneurs. We are an NGO, 40-year-old NGO this year, and we've been host of the GEW since 2016. So for us, we have a very, very strong, we call it crowdsourced network of partners that almost works autonomously. We give them whatever they need in order to run their local campaigns and local events. And on top of that, our challenge is every year we start a new calendar, we enter with zero finance. So for us, it's super important to figure out how do we get finance, and it's not that we want the money. The money can be converted into all the vital project management to work with partners, do the marketing effort, and obviously do the impact. So for us, it's been the most decisive factor in succeeding any given year has been choosing the right theme. We were one of the first countries to join GEW, so it's no news. It's a strong brand, but there's no news in, well, GEW is coming this year as well. So we need to have a very, very concrete angle. And what we did last year was focusing on blue entrepreneurs. So Denmark obviously have a great coastline. We're a small country and we used to sail all over. And we have strong global companies. You probably know Maersk. We have a few others. And this was a very good starting point. There's a lot of compliance on decarbonation. There's a lot of super cool entrepreneurs that uses our blue oceans in order to innovate and in order to figure out how we can solve the climate crisis. Public support is also super important. A lot of the sponsors, they want to see that this is truly impactful, and they also use it as a public affairs platform. So we have strong governmental support for what we do. Then I think for us, it was not intuitive, but once we moved our signature event outside of the capital, it attracted so much more attention. In the capital, Copenhagen, we have to compete. People are used to whatever, claiming that, it's a global thing, you have to participate. But how the local region can support an initiative. So for the past 5 years, we've had our grand opening outside the capital. And then per default, we are an entrepreneurial organization. We've got 20,000 members. But having the legitimacy of being part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem is key. So what happened? We attracted investors from all over the world to this. We had a national campaign, also TV campaign, a social media campaign, and we reached 2/3 of the total population in Denmark with GEW this year. And now we're finalizing building a physical hub for blue ocean innovation. So that has come in very strong. I want to use the last minute on next year, so maybe flip the slide. So we've been looking forward for some time, and Denmark will take over the presidency of the EU Council 1st of July. And we approached the EU Commission to get them involved in how can we improve the competitiveness of European scale-ups. We have a scale-up problem in Europe, and the Commission was very engaged in that. We managed already to raise more funds than we did last year, this time more public fund than usual. So it's going to be an integral part of the SME Assembly that you might know of, but it's like 700 people from mainly policymakers from all over the EU, and it's dead boring. So what we do is bringing in the entrepreneurs. So please feel free to join us in Copenhagen 12th of November this year. So that's all, and I'm obviously here if you want to continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Good to see you again. And thank you, Gary. So the next segment we're going to talk about here, and again, towards the end of this conversation, as a reminder, we're going to open this up and we're going to kind of start soliciting input from everybody. And so we're just trying to kind of pull nuggets out of here, best practices, success stories that we're sharing around the table. I've already got some ideas. I really like the idea about moving kind of a big launch out of the capital city, and incorporating that idea into the U.S. campaign. But our next section here is talking about partnerships. And so, mobilizing some brands, some credible brands that are going to kind of help you reach targeted communities. And so, as we've discussed kind of in the overview of GEW, it's really powered by 20,000 different organizations that are out there. As Jonathan called it, catalyze, don't organize. We're not looking for one or two in a country, we're looking for a lot. Right? So we've got 20,000 partner organizations around the world that are pulling together these different events, activities, and competitions and really powering the entire campaign. And so it's really partners that are driving this process. And so what we're looking for all of our host organizations to do is really catalyze, don't organize. It's focus on those partnerships. Meaningful partnerships are the foundation for success. And so how do you do that? Both in terms of reach, making sure that you are creating not just a local network, but a national network. Now, sometimes you have to start small, but keep in mind that we are thinking about successful national campaigns that are reaching all parts of a country, all ecosystems. We're thinking about resources. How do you create the campaign that's truly reflective of what you want it to be and what will really help the entrepreneurs in your communities and your countries, and figure out a way to make that done. None of our organizations by themselves are big enough or have the pockets deep enough to make that happen, but that's why we're focused on partnerships. And then the third bit here, media interest, obviously, we're trying to increase awareness. And so, what are some of the ways that we can kind of work together and really appeal to media members? And so for this one, we're going to turn to Stephanie. I didn't see you sit. Can you raise your hand? Right next to me. That's blind spot on the left. So we'll turn to you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yes, I'm Stephanie, and I come from Germany. In Germany, the GEW campaign is hosted by the government, by the Federal Ministry for Economy for the last 16 years, which is, as you can imagine, helpful in many, many ways. I'm not working for the government. I'm working for the RKW Competence Center, which is a think tank that works for and with the government. And yes, as you can imagine, working 16 years and building up that network for 16 years, we have high numbers, which is not such a big effort if you concern that to the long time we are doing that. But anyway, we are very happy. We have, during nationwide, we have 1,200 partner that build events under the compass, and including 60 new partners every year. And last year we were able to offer 1,600 events in our calendar for current and future entrepreneurs. So this high-end partner engagement is one of the most important campaign success factors for us. So what's driving us the most is the question, how can we strengthen that network? And therefore, many different kinds of support that we give to the partners is one of our key goal working in that campaign at the moment. What does that mean for us working in a very strong network? As you can imagine, nationwide, 1,200 partners that create all those events for current and future entrepreneurs. We offer them tailored services like the nationwide event calendar. We host our own website where the partners can find tailored services like of course, the logo and also social media kit, templates for their PR events, and everything that helps partners to plan, implement, and do their events. And besides that, it's a very strong key goal for us to make those partners visible. And not only those partners, but also the many, many events they offer each year. And we do that by implementing statements, photos, videos. We include them in panel talks, on websites, social media challenges, articles, key events, every time we have the opportunity to include partners in some things that are seen by many, many people, we try to do that. This year, the ministry opened 2 new social media challenges and 2 new platforms on LinkedIn and also on Instagram, just to give those partners and the whole network the opportunity to be seen and to share their events and to share their statements with others. And one other thing that works very, very good at the moment with us is the World Café series. That's a series of exclusive partner events. We started that series online because we started it in 2022. And then we thought maybe let's start online to get easy access for everyone to share that events. And like us sitting here today around that table, all those partners are able to connect to each other, to get to know each other, and to share their experiences and bring up new ideas together. And I'm very, very happy to hear your questions and to hear your ideas about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Our next kind of topic of discussion here is around leveraging existing Gen communities and partners. I'm sure you've been, well, again, a number of you already know us and our family, but for those of you who aren't, I'm sure you've heard that we're in 200 countries with programs actively supporting entrepreneurs. And so not just Global Entrepreneurship Week, it's deeper than that. And so we want to think about how through GEW, together we can mobilize those other programs, those other communities that are active within the network and get them involved to support you in your national campaigns. And so, again, if we're looking at Gen members, we've got local startup huddle chapters that are holding at least monthly chapter meetings or gatherings. We've got global business angel members, with angel investor groups, obviously some appealing individuals to get involved in your campaigns to attract entrepreneurs. We have the Entrepreneurship World Cup. We've got organizers there. We've got Gen Starters Club members or just members of our Gen Founders community. It's a chance for them to get a little bit of extra visibility and exposure for themselves. It's also a chance for them to give back a little bit, and so we can look for ways to mobilize them. But then also thinking about similar communities, right? Ecosystem builders and ESOs that dedicate, their careers, right, to lifting up entrepreneurs in these communities and countries around the world. Angel investor groups, university-based clubs, government agencies, et cetera. So you kind of get where we're going with this. How do we mobilize this community? So to discuss this, we're going to turn to our friend from Spain, so Neus.
and the Oscar goes to me. I feel it like that. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Just I'm going to give you a few data about Spain this 2024. GEW Spain held 691 activities across the country. It's reaching almost every part of Spain. We are based in Barcelona city, so sometimes it's really kind of difficult to be every part of the country. So this year we are really happy because we reach almost every region of it. This reflects basically that the vibrant entrepreneurial energy that is in Spain as a through all the peninsula. Among these activities and related where we are talking now, I would like to highlight the strong presence of Starter Huddle during the GEW week, because they have become like a case of stars and places where all entrepreneurs for all over the world, all over Spain, they can connect, share, and grow together, and mainly in Barcelona too. So we are super happy about that because we successfully engaged over 20,000 people during the Global Entrepreneur Week. And we also have involvement of 130 institutions from all the region. So this is new. Due to, as I told you, sometimes it's difficult to get in other communities inside Spain. Since 3 years ago, we start working with regional delegates, we call it like that. And here they have the names. It's Andalucía Emprende. This is a very big organization related with the government of Andalusia, that is in the south of Spain. Then we have Fundación Roncel. They are amazing. They do entrepreneurial things in north of Spain. In Galicia, Aprofem, that is in the heart of Spain, in Castilla-La Mancha, and ADR Balear is in the islands, where is Ibiza, for example. For the next years, we are just reconfirming our commitment of keep doing this job. And also, I forget to say that since so many years ago, we have the help of Ministry of Labor and Social Economy for the government. So this is really helping us to continue doing our work during the GEW week. And in 2025, mainly, it's keep on doing what we are doing well and keep improving and keep engagement, more people, more institutions, and being everywhere in Spain. So for me, my time, it's done. I'm faster. I'm Spanish. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Neus. That was really great.
If anyone have any question, it will be a pleasure to give you an answer.
Yeah, so the next tactic or key area we want to focus on is recruiting celebrities, government officials, and brands. And so why it matters. So high-profile champions amplify credibility and reach. It opens doors to funding, media, and policy influence. Builds social proof that accelerates growth. And the strategy there could be mutual value. So think about what do they gain, what is purpose, visibility, impact. And then you start with connectors, people you're connected with. You use existing networks to reach 1 degree, that's 1 degree away. Tactical plays, celebrities, focus on those who are already aligned with your goals. Government officials, frame as a public-private partnership or community uplift. And then we think about approaching brands, invite brands to sponsor panels, workshops, and events. So there's a few ways that you can engage those communities during your campaign. And so we'll hear a little bit from Jen Bangladesh on how they take this on.
Thank you, Gary. Good afternoon, all. Bangladesh is actually celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week since 2000. And our main objective is to promote the entrepreneurship because, in Bangladesh, we have almost 200 million people. And most of us are actually looking for job. So, but definitely there is very limited job opportunities. So we need job creators. So that's why what we did last year in 2024, we have invited Ministry of Primary and Mass Education, who are actually responsible for including ensuring that children are getting education. So that's why we requested them to be partner with GEW Bangladesh, and we are very happy that they have accepted our invitation, and we have closely worked with the Ministry of Primary and Mass Education. One of the most important things that we have done last year, family support is very important to be an entrepreneur, especially a country like Bangladesh, because parents wants their children to be job seekers and getting secured employment. But we have to create job. So that's why we invited 3,500 guardians. And we would like to give a thank to Daffodil International University, who have arranged this huge session. We have invited 3,500 parents and also with their children. So it is all about 7,000 people events. And in front of their children, all the parents promised that they will support their children's ideas, and they will support them to be an entrepreneur, to start their startup journey. So that's actually create a very good influence over across the Bangladesh. And this year we have included partners like Microsoft, Amazon, UNDP. So these actually strengthen our celebration, especially what we are focusing on 2025 this year. So I think the motto was for us last year, entrepreneurship should start from school. And we want to promote this, and we want to highlight this, because without family support, I think it would be very tough for our young generations to be an entrepreneur. Thank you, Gary.
Mark, I'm going to let you take this one. This is all you.
Pass. Okay, so there's an expression that everyone's heard. It's you can't measure what you don't track, right? And so one of the things that we want to talk to you about today and learn more a little bit about is, collecting metrics for sustainability. We all know that we have to mobilize various partners and stakeholders to support our campaigns. And the value proposition for all of them is a little bit different. They're not all looking for the same thing, but they want information. They want to know, about our campaigns. They want to know how we're measuring success. What data can we give them? What information can we share with them that helps move them to yes, to get them to support our campaigns? And so in the early days, we were tracking simple campaign metrics. We wanted to know how many of you were running national campaigns. That gave us a number of countries that we could say were engaged in Global Entrepreneurship Week. We wanted to know how many events that were happening during the week, how many partner organizations were responsible for those events, and how many participants, how many people were showing up. Now, those metrics still actually matter to us, right? It's a really easy way to communicate to somebody who's not familiar with Global Entrepreneurship Week the size and scale of the campaign. But what else do we need to track? Like, what do those stakeholders really need to know to kind of understand it and help support? So there's a number of things that we talk about in terms of the KPIs and the metrics about tracking. A lot of some of it's going to be quantitative, some of it will be qualitative. So for a quick overview on that, we're going to turn to our friends and colleagues from Turkey.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. So, and I will start to talk about, first, what we achieved so far, right? And in Turkey, in GEW. So, we couldn't achieve alone, right, all this stuff. And we, organized more than 300 activities within this week, within the campaign. And we engaged and 164 stakeholders to our campaign in Turkey. And at the end of the day, at the end of the campaign, and we reached out to more than 35 participants within our campaign through our events and trainings and programs that we organized within that week. So as already mentioned at the beginning of my speech, so we couldn't achieve all this, and without our partners, help and support, right? But first of all, we aim to bring the ecosystem to act together. So that's why we shaped an executive board, to initiate all these activities in our country, in Turkey. And we initiated executive board of GEW Turkey. And basically, this executive board is led by Gen Turkey, and 35 executive board member organizations for public authorities, civil society, unions, universities, accelerators, startup clubs, and networks and technoparks. They are all involved, right? So they're all involved, and all these activities have happened. So with their support, and also for sure, tracking and reporting impact is really important, right? So, and I would like to share at this point that, and by tracking all the activities in the field, happening activities in the field, so it will be a great tool for us also to chase and to better understand what's happening in the field, right? All those activities, are happening, but it's really sometimes difficult to catch up, right? And to understand and what's happening in the field. But tracking and reporting impact, it's what has been, process has been really helpful for us to understand the impact that we created in Turkey throughout the week. And also visibility and global engagement was very key and was very significant in our activities. And we simplified registration with Turkish translation and local website. And also we supported our partners and that supports the week and campaign with videos, one-on-one help, incentives, and orientations meetings as well. And also to sustain the momentum during the week, during the campaign, we collected partner feedback and to improve the data tracking. We collected the data basically from them, for sure. And also, use data to we use the data to identify and support the, basically underserved and disadvantaged regions. Most of the entrepreneurship, activities are happening, unfortunately, in Istanbul. So the data and we collected also helped us to understand the reality, and also we tried to reach out to the other regions in Turkey through our activities within this campaign as well. And also, Gen Turkey chapter and board members, board members mobilize the local networks to reach out to as more people as we can do. And that their help has been really decisive during our campaign. And also we are organizing, local forums and to multiple cities within this week. And also, those local activities and summits also, helped to increase our impact all around to Turkey as well. And last but not least, demonstrating value to stakeholders, and we already engaged all the 31 executive board members, right, to highlight their impact. So these is really important also, to convince them and for the next year, right? So at the end of the day, we are gonna, organize this event as well for the next year. Also, the visibility of our impact, the visibility of our events, also important from that point of view, right? Also to convince them to get involved for the next year activities. So that's why, we to attract the, let's say, appetite, and we actually managed this process very well from a PR point of view, from and visibility point of view, let's say. So that's all on my end. Thank you for listening all.
Thank you for that. So moving on, when we think about, we just talked about collecting metrics for sustainability. When you think about your campaign, there are things that you need in order to do the great campaigns. And so whether it's a financial resource or a non-financial resource, and looking at the financial ones, corporate sponsorships, government grants, philanthropy, major donors, but there are some resources that you can use as well as far as event space volunteers, and that falls under non-financial resources. And so when you are building this campaign, think about, while you need the financial resources, there are other people you can tap on to support you as you build these great events. We will be hearing from Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Gary, and thanks for all the support that you've been providing. Glad to be sharing our experience. We as an agency is I think the youngest kid on the block when it comes to GEW. We've only done it for 3 years. And one of the things that I want to highlight is, why would a country do this? We knew why. We knew our why, just like Simon Sinek said. There were 2 reasons for me personally when I visited GEC for my first time in 2020 in Riyadh. One was Sri Lanka was going through a very difficult time. We wanted to really instill hope in the minds of young people. And we realized that one way is to instill the craze of entrepreneurship. Just like we went through a pandemic, but take that example, to spread it across the entire country, to give hope to people. So we wanted to do that in numbers. And the entire GEW methodology, the concept, nicely fitted. And the second one is to support Suresh, who's our Gen ambassador, who has been there for a long time and really wanted to do something great with him. So therefore, we engaged with this. For our first year, we had about 3,500 participants. And our third year, we were able to go beyond 20,000 participants. And every year that we do this, we faced multiple challenges. As an example, the last year that we did it, the host organization, which is us, we were going to close down. And we were not very sure on which branding we are going to go and do this. But we had a team of people, or I wouldn't say a team, few people who took this on as a passion project. So those who you are in this room who would like to take this on, I would say if we can do it, you can definitely do it. So I'm giving that encouragement to you. And therefore, the partners that we were able to get on board during the many years, they stick with us through thick and thin. Whether it's our agency which did it, they stick with us, the people who took this on as a passion project. And every year, we don't have a dedicated team for this. Every year, we had to onboard new teams, train them, new interns, and get them on board. But if you take this on as a passion project, we can achieve all those different things. So the support that we've received through in-kind and financial, the agency itself didn't spend anything at all. It's the first year that the agency really took on something. And every other year, it was private sponsors, partners, and other community bodies which rolled out these activities, spending their own money. So the single thing that drove them was that North Star, which is the fact that Sri Lanka needed that hope to be spread across young people in Sri Lanka to spur entrepreneurship and take them forward. So one of the things that worked with us was the trust. They knew that these few people will deliver something great, and that's why big players like MasterCard came on board to support us through sponsorship. Our biggest startup in Sri Lanka, ride-hailing application with IPO'd, came on board as partners for financial, and all the others came on board with the trust that they had on the people who were driving it, the fact that they would do something impactful for the country. I think that's important. So therefore, that's why we have put down that we have to invest in long-term ecosystem trust, not only during the GEW, but throughout the entire year. Work with those partners, be part of their programs, and not only get them engaged in yours and contribute to that. The data metrics, as Turkey also mentioned, is very important that we collect it and are able to tell that story, not just metrics, but the story. The stories of young people who started their journey because of being part of GEW events is very important to spur encouragement. And of course, The media engagement as partners were very important to us. So there was a narrative that we were able to form during our first year that we took forward with the theme of GEW, which changed every year, and we were able to present that. In terms of the future, of course, our 3 years are done as an agency. Now we are looking at how we will bring on board. We have a new ministry called Ministry of Entrepreneurship. Now, next step is to bring on board the real owners of entrepreneurship in our country alongside us and take it forward so that it will be a national movement that takes place. Our president has said that he wants to create a craze of entrepreneurship in our country. So I would say we would position this as the best way to create that craze during that period. The bringing on board more partners, especially through rural inclusion and other multiple partners. We were able to spread this across 21 districts. Our target is to have all 25 districts involved in 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sachindra. That was really great to see where you were and where you're headed for 2025. So thank you. So we're going to talk about unearthing impactful stories and scaling a media footprint. And so a little bit about this, of like why stories matter. People connect with people. Stories humanize data and mission. Stories inspire action, investment, and community. Unearthing the right stories. Focus on voices from the field, founders, local change makers. Seek authenticity over polish, real changes, real breakthroughs. And then we think about scaling a media footprint. Own your narrative, blog, newsletter, podcast, video content. And as far as partnerships, collaborate with aligned brands, influencers, and platforms. And we wanted to highlight a story from Jen, Bangladesh. KM San, I want you to share more about how you approached this. I guess a little bit more about this story. Why was it impactful in Bangladesh? We'd just love to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Gary. A wonderful thing happened in Bangladesh last year, that we have launched Gen Campus. That actually gave us a confidence and gave us an evidence that yes, we will have a hub where we will nurture our talents, our innovators. So this Gen Campus actually helped us to, approach the prominent figures, business leaders, associations, and entrepreneurs to bring on them on the board. So that's how, when we ensured the parents, as you can see on the screen, the Gen highlighted story that we have invited 3,500 parents, so that they can provide their commitment that they will support their children. So when we showed them that yes, we have a hub, we don't need only commitment, but we will be with you so that we can nurture them. So I think Gen Campus, we are running it as a pilot basis right now, and we are hoping that in GEW 2025 in November we will launch it, and we are hoping that because we have already approached it to our chief advisors, equivalent to Prime Minister, because you know that we are now having interim government in Bangladesh. So the chief advisor, Professor Dr. Mohammad Yunus, who is also an entrepreneurial role model across the globe. So we approached his office, and I hope that with the Ministry of Primary and Mass Education, we'll be able to have our chief advisor who will inaugurate this GEW 2025, and also officially launch this Gen Campus along with Jonathan Othman, who will be visiting Bangladesh in November this year.
Thank you for that. We're going to go through, that's all of our sharings right now, but we're going to go through, we have a lot more hosts at the table, and so I want to get thoughts from people around the room as we went through these kind of tactics. I'm going to take this screen back to, let's see. So this page here, when we talk about all the 8 tactics, when we think about a global campaign, and so I guess as we went around and heard from other country hosts, I would love to hear from those around the table around your campaign. What things that sparked something in you, or you're like, oh, I resonate with that, or that could be interesting to implement in my campaign as it relates to the 8 tactics. So I do want to open the floor up to learn more about any challenges that you're facing, or how can we continue to create a collaborative space for Global Entrepreneurship Week. I know all you, so I can call on you.
Yes, yes, very.
Go ahead.
It was an enlightening presentation of all of them. For us in Curaçao, I think the 2 presentations about the engagement of media and also the financial part to engage sponsors, and the last one presentation about engaging parents and children was very interesting for us. We think we can. I suppose the presentations will be shared with us, because I found that I could have taken a few pictures, but I suppose the presentation will be shared. And I think one of the most important things is the experience the other GEN or GEW countries have. It will help us. And I think those 3 I mentioned would be very, very interesting for our country. We are very small, but I think we can engage a lot with the experience you shared. So thank you for the presentation. Very engaging. Thank you. So that's my comment.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other? Go ahead, Amelia.
Hi, good afternoon. And my colleague is from Curaçao. I'm from Bonaire. And one of the things coming to GEN for the last 10 years that I found rather interesting, and it's playing out well in our own campaign, was the Compass Award. So I've always wondered why we come and sit, and then we received honorary trophies, let's call it that, for work that was done. So how do we incorporate that in our community? How do we get that involved? And 5 years back, I started thinking about something like that, but then for your own community. We started off with logos, so we have a logo for a business hall of fame that you can do in your own community. Then we moved on to testing it, where we got different aspects of best large business, best small business, best innovation, technology. So we have 5 categories. And that's for the business sector, because they were complaining about, hey, but it's for us, but we wanted it to be for the community. So we started off like that with those 5 categories. And the first time we did it was in 2022. And we engaged about 100 local individuals to do the survey. The second year around, I was like, okay, it will get better. The second year around, we did about 200. And last year, I felt like a rock star, because what happened, we did the survey and we got about 900 and change to respond to the survey to pick the best large business, the best. So we're engaging them. Finally, we have the platform to get them to do what we want them to do. So based on that, we added on something for youngsters, those that do nails, those that do hair. So it's the unofficial entrepreneurs that we don't know in our community. And we did the challenge for students in elementary school that they got $20. And before I did it last year at GEC, I was asking a few people, hey, did you do that? How much money did they bring in? So most people told me, yeah, if you give $20, you would get a return on investment for about $300. Now, we got a return on investment from one of the groups that won, and it was almost $700. They decided that that entrepreneurial spirit and that journey that they learned, they will continue with it. So based on that, we now have ways and metrics to get everybody engaged in the entrepreneurship cycle. And I invite you, if you're interested, to ask questions or look at our website, GEW Bonaire. You can put it in Google and then find out what we did. We also had a lot of rock stars, like Gary said. So we celebrated 10 years and then look at the 10 years and look for 5 international entrepreneurs that we've had, either on the island or via Zoom, that we think is relevant to the entrepreneurship community, that they can learn something from. And we had 5 locals that we thought were also relevant. So 10 speakers, 10 years, and a whole month of celebration. We were rocking it last year. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Anyone else around the table? There's a lot of GW hosts in the room who are putting on great campaigns. Maybe what does your campaign look like in 2025? How's it shaping up? Are there challenges that you're facing? Violetta, you want to share?
Since you're looking at me. Well, last year in Ecuador, we had a lot of challenges, starting with the lack of power, of energy in our houses, and ending with violence. So it was very struggling, organize a good campaign, but luckily, I have historical good allies. I have partners that have been organizing events for GEW since 2010. So they don't need for me to tell them, do something or do that. They bring more people to the table. They organize events. They contact with me, but they are particularly bad to upload the events on the website. They don't care if they do it. I have to do it for them, but they get the work done, and that's why we had events this year, even. In some occasions, we don't have power to have a microphone or a presentation. We did it outside. Ecuador is a tropical country, so we have good weather. And November is a month that is not too hot, but we always want our event to be very beautiful with lights and everything. I said, if you are new in GEW, engaging good partners is the most important thing you can do. You have to be wise, choosing the right people to engage those people in your campaign. You don't have to do it all, as they say. You have to catalyze. You have to make people be glad and happy to collaborate with you, showing what is going on in your country with entrepreneurs. And for that, you have to be intelligent, you have to be clear, and you have to be collaborative. If you don't show those things to people, they are not going to support you. They are they're not going to be interested in what you're doing. And talk with other countries. If the country that is your neighbor doesn't want to talk with you, find another country in the world. Call me, call Jorge Luis from Panama, call Cata from Honduras, or any Latin American is going to be very proud to talk with you because we are like that. And we share knowledge. We share everything we have because we are used to do that. So that's my wise participation in this panel. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Violeta.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I think we learned a lot from the pandemic. During the pandemic, we got together some countries, Paraguay, Argentina, Peru. Then we did the same thing with other institutions. And we organized something that we provoked was that when you talk about the Global Entrepreneurship Week and you go to the press, they think that every day is going to be the same thing. So we decided to establish one day for public sector, the other day for universities, schools, and institutes. The third day, Women Day. So everything that you talk about that day was only women and entrepreneurs. The Thursday day was green, everything related to forestry, to environment. And the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday related to technology. And in Bolivia, we added during the weekends to go to the municipal governments, far away from the big cities. Those things gave a different motivation to start doing whatever the country was doing, but at the same time, we have a main topic. So we were able to reach the ministers, for example, by Zoom, the women's minister from different countries. We also related the deans of each university, so they talk about entrepreneurship inside their universities. So everybody wanted to show what they were doing. And now that we are back to these things after 4 years or 5, we're still doing the same thing. But we went down to the small cities. So we don't do anything like go and get money for doing a big campaign in the big city, La Paz, Cochabamba, Santa Cruz. We go to the medium-sized cities. So those medium-sized cities will do it by themselves, with the schools, with the universities, with the majors. Now we have the majors. In Brazil, they do have something that is really good. It's called the Entrepreneurship Major. So they vote to see if the major is doing something for the young people, for the small businesses, and also for the entrepreneurs. And we are working on to having a law, a local law, to promote entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurs are related to the local activities. If somebody is going to stop you to do something, it's the local government, because you have to get permissions, you have to get a lot of things out of them. So I think a good provocative activity is to try to emphasize in each day in different topics, even though everybody can do the different things during the day. But if you focus, you call the attention of the press. At the same time, you call the attention of the authorities, so they want to be there. During the pandemic, we had the minister of Paraguay, a woman's minister from Paraguay. We had somebody from Peru, from Bolivia, Argentina, Chile, and also in Colombia, they did the same thing, Ecuador. So I think if we start working again by regions, you call the attention of the young people, because they want to know something somebody's doing in another country. And finally, I think it's really important to say it, that sometimes you don't need the money to do that. What you need to do is the willingness. For example, we have a big university in the city that is really cold. It's not tropical, it's in the high altitude. But we provoked that the university became, during 1 week, the celebration of everything. So they put a big sign in the front of the university, and each class will talk 5 minutes to an hour about entrepreneurship. The biggest problem that we have is how we show that, how we put it on context. And as we say, if you don't count it and you don't show it, doesn't exist. So I think the emphasis that we have to do it in this coming Global Entrepreneurship Week is to find a way to have partners to include media, press, or maybe, how you say it, the redes sociales? The social media, yeah. I think that will help us a lot to improve and show it. And always using the main topic, young people, entrepreneurship, and technology and innovation. And something that is really new in Bolivia, the respect of natural resources. We are having a lot of problems with natural resources. We are losing a lot of hectares with fires. I think now we're going to start doing a lot of things related to that. I think that's my topic.
Thank you, Renee.
Yes, and I'm only say that one of the challenges internal for GEM programs is to get all together and to put it in the GEW as you said, Renee, like everything is happening at the same time, but during all the year, we are working in startup huddles that are frequently. We are looking for the startups and founders to get into the EWC registration and company that make that sense. So when we get into November is almost the last month of the year. So all of the works that we do in all the programs during in Colombia during the year has a special moment, as our partner of Bonner said, that we want to give an award or something like that that makes all of the regionals and nodals that we have in Colombia putting together and to say thank you in a special way. More than a trophy, more than money, just the volunteer that they are spreading the GEN programs all around the country. So this is one of the challenges we have, because one of the hosts that are in that table are hosts for another programs too. So we have to get involved in all of the programs that we have and the others that we don't are starting at that moment. That's my collaboration.
When I undertook the campaign in 2017 in my team, we found that the Global Entrepreneurship Week had only 6 to 8 partners back in Honduras. Honduras is a small country in Central America. And definitely you need a lot of willingness, and you need to engage partners to have a like-mindedness of what GEW means, right? So we have grown the campaign. 2024, we closed with 54 partners, which is a big growth for us. And what we have done in the past couple of years is we've been trying to focus on the ecosystem actors. So 2024, what we did was try to engage all the actors and sponsors, right? We're always focused on entrepreneurs and companies and like the people who take up most of our time, but we never focus on those sponsors or the actors or facilitators. So what we did was try to work up a campaign for them as well, and also provoke events. Obviously, events like this, not this big, obviously, a much slower scale. But it was very interesting to us to find out that many of these actors didn't know themselves. They had never met. There wasn't spaces in Honduras for them to meet, spaces dedicated for them to relax, to just like network between themselves, because they're always the organizers, right? They're always the ones that are focused on organizing, and they're always busy running around. They're not sitting down like we're doing right now. So that's something we did, and it was great for them, and it's something that we repeated last year, and we're definitely we're going to do it again. Different cities as well. Honduras is small, so we need to go to the different cities. And what we did last year was, okay, so let's bring up entrepreneurs, but what value can we add to the campaign? So what we did was we approached certain sponsors, and we wanted to bring entrepreneurs like on a social media trend. We want entrepreneurs to be trendy. We want entrepreneurs the word entrepreneur to also be trending online. So we got a photo campaign which highlighted entrepreneurs and all types of entrepreneurs and their stories, but we also came up with a contest. And what the entrepreneurs won for the contest was photo shoots. Photo shoots that we got from different volunteers about their products, about their stores. And this was really interesting to see all the entrepreneurs that wanted to participate and tell the story. And that's how we got a lot of traction on social media, because there were entrepreneurs from everywhere, and the sponsors and the actors were sharing their stories. So that was very interesting for us. And this year we're focusing on sponsors. We haven't figured out how we're gonna do it yet because they already have enough exposure. But yeah, that's what we are doing to get like new innovation and new ideas going on for GW, and just keep on growing in events and alliances as well.
Thank you.
Hello, Carlos Jimenez from Puerto Rico. I'm not supposed to be here. I am supposed to be in the one of US in the afternoon, and I will be there, but I feel that Puerto Rico also plays a different role because of our relationship with the United States. So I would like to address some things. It was the same relationship before with Spain. So first, when we do the Global Entrepreneurship Week in Puerto Rico, we're a small country, 2 million people, and what we do is we put in an objective. We gather since we try to plan the Global Entrepreneurship Week in advance. So our objective is to improve the competitiveness of the entrepreneur. So it has a challenge from what now Jonathan said about getting to the 98% that is not entrepreneurial, and I have to address that this year. The thing is, we divide the activities by phases of the entrepreneur. We divide the activities by the executable functions of the entrepreneur, like marketing, selling. We divide the activities by demographics, and we have different type of activities for youth, for women, LGBT, everything. So we divide it, and we know that if there is not one group addressed, we focus on that group. So and we will reach out on any other organization that can do an activity. By geography, I make sure that all Puerto Rico 78 municipalities have at least one activity. We divide it by different economy: blue economy, orange economy, green economy. So we know that everything is we comply to each of the criteria that we have. We integrate the communication, and I try to make that all organizations go to the media all the organizations have different advantage. Some of them know better the newspaper, and some of them knows better the TV commercial or communication. So I make them open their channels. So if I have a radio interview, I will bring today Catalina, and tomorrow I will bring Spain, or so I try to involve all of them into the communication. The other thing is we involve signature organizations, like not all the organizations have the same amount of time in the island. We have, like the Chamber of Commerce has 100 years, the industrial organization has 50 years, so Hecho en Puerto Rico has 70 years. So we try to involve those organizations and get them all together, because there are other organizations that only have been in Puerto Rico for the last 5 years. So there are ones with more depth than others. So those signatures organization, we involve them. The other thing is we motivate newcomers, like if there is a new incubator, or if there is any other campus-related activity, we try to involve them. This is one thing that we do also. We try to do one activity for ourselves to improve our skills, or to have a network. So, because not everybody has the same skills, and we talk to, we made like a survey, and let's say we need to better some subject that we don't know, and let's say AI. So we address one activity for us to learn about AI. So that's one of the things that we do. We work with the four helix thinking. We integrate academia, NGOs, government, and industry real hard. We know that those four players has to be skin in the game. And about the metrics, that is very difficult, because not all the organizations want to enter the data. So I make sure that they put in the data in a chat. Okay, this chat is running for the last 4 years. So when time comes in, I send a message, please give me the data. So I will populate it into an Excel and my team, and then we'll send it to GEW personnel, and they will help us to, if we have any error, they will help us into the population of the information. And in 2010, we had only 3 organizations doing Global Entrepreneurship Week. That was our first year. Today, more than 200 organizations are doing Global Entrepreneurship Week. And the most important feature that we have is that we have a chat called GEW. Now it's the red, or the network, and that runs on a daily basis. So now everybody knows what's happening in all the organizations all together because of this chat. So this is very important. And we have copied some of the different marketing ideas from Spain. They had at one time this advertisement about the crisis in Spain, and they had this red umbrella or in the mayor boss's signage. And we have run the same, very similar campaign for the Global Entrepreneurship Week in marketing, in not only social media, but also in the bosses' stops and in the billboards. So I would, and this is my challenge to this group. Here we have the world together for the same reason, entrepreneurship. And I dream that we can have one 24-hour event of knowledge that we can start in the Oriental part and run it in blocks so we can have all the knowledge available in one day. And this is why I'm doing the challenge. I also participate in a very similar group, but for other subject, which is operational excellence. It's called Kaizen in Japan. It's called Lean in the US. It's called continuous improvement. It's called different names. So in that organization, we run a 24-hour event with 3 tracks. Everybody pours in case studies, tools, methodology, and different things through the day. So you can enter into the room whenever. I have seen cases from Panama, from different companies using the same methodology, techniques, and everything. So I think that in here, around the world, we have probably, I'm for sure, the best teachers in entrepreneurship that I don't know which one is in your country. And I would like to learn from him, or an entrepreneur that has gone through different phases and how he did it. I don't know, there is so much knowledge in here that I think we need to share that.
I totally would support your idea. I find that so interesting to hear from your campaigns, and we all come from different countries, large countries, small countries, and run different campaigns, like nationwide campaigns with many, many partners, or local campaigns with a few partners. But the impression I got from today is that on many, many points we are dealing with the same questions and struggling with the same problems. And I think that I would really, really like to stay in contact and find like an event where we could share our experience and find out more solutions to the questions that are all the same.
I'll kind of jump in really quickly and then turn it over to you for a quick second. Just acknowledging that we're getting close on time, but just a couple of really quick points. Carlos, you said that you were supposed to be in the other session. I just want to refute that and say that's not true. You're welcome in all sessions. So we appreciate your experience and expertise.
And I have my flag.
Both here and at the GEW USA session, so you're always welcome. Second thing is, I love the idea of a 24-hour something during GEW. Way back in the days, we had a partnership with EO. They had an event called 24/7 that they would run during GEW. And whether it looks like exactly what you described or something else, I would love for all of us to collaborate a little bit more on how we can do that. And Stephanie, to your point, I think we need to revive more frequent virtual meetups of all of you, so that way you can kind of share. I know Gary has been really good in the past year about kind of regular Slack meetings, right? Kind of convenings. We haven't really gotten into it too deeply this year, but now that we're kind of emerging out of GEC, this is going to be a really big focus for us, and so you can expect to get a lot more invitations to a lot more virtual gatherings. We're going to try and vary the times and days and dates, so that way realizing that all of you are in different time zones and what works for one might not work for many. So we're going to try and make it possible for you to join as many as you can, but really the important thing for us is that desire and that demand for all of you to connect with one another, because if we're a bottleneck on the flow of information in the middle, that doesn't help, right? And so we need to get all of you kind of connecting together as much as possible. So that's something that we're committed to doing. One quick one, and then I'm going to kind of go around.
Privilegio. I just want to give a standing ovation to Gary because
Sean had his hand up over there.
All right, quickly. Thanks, Sean from
Emil.
Canada. Then I'm going to turn it over to GW partner Megan from Futurepreneur.
Okay.
Over to you.
Hi, everyone. I don't know how much time we have left, but I just wanted to say I've been so inspired by everything that you've shared. I represent Futurepreneur Canada. We're the official host of GEW in Canada, and hi, Gary. Hi, Mark. I'll come and introduce myself after. I'm here on behalf of Micah Anshin, who maybe some of you know. He unfortunately couldn't be here today. Just wanted to share a couple of things also that we've been doing in Canada that would love to also exchange perhaps after this session as well. For us, just given that November is also a very busy month, and we do have Small Business Month, Small Business Week in October, right before. So we try to amp up engagement for Global Entrepreneurship Week at that time. And our team are typically at full capacity in November, but we really try to enhance engagement with our fellow regional partners. It's a big country, so we really try to engage all stakeholders around the table and enable them with the great branding and registration opportunities that they can do for the week. But with that, something that we've been fairly successful at doing in the last 2 years, I want to say, is we've done a national tour. So going in 6 cities across the country to engage young entrepreneurs, but specifically in elevate the entrepreneurs that have been part of our community. And we do that through a holiday shopping tour. In Canada, it's the start of the holiday season in November, so we try to amp up on that and celebrate the Shop Local initiative, celebrate our young entrepreneurs. So we've been doing that for about 3 years now, and we try to engage with our stakeholders there. And we launch also a holiday shopping guide that is specific to entrepreneurs in our country to try and elevate that engagement as well. Something that we've been also very excited about is to engage with our federal government so that they can do a proper launch of Global Entrepreneurship Week, a flag raising perhaps with some provincial or municipalities as well. And that really set the stage for government engagement and representation as well. And then, of course, the challenge we continue to have, and I think that's something that you all mentioned, is to communicate and collaborate with the variety of stakeholders that exist in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in our countries. For us, we have about 350 community partners across the country, and we rely on a lot of our engagement communities, so our business development officers on the ground to try to engage with them to build momentum. But again, because Small Business Week happens right the month right before, November is fairly at capacity for a lot of stakeholders, it can get a bit difficult to prioritize certain initiative amongst others. But that's something that we are working on. Last thing I want to mention, I don't know if Shun is still here. Okay. But we've also tried to elevate a program of ambassadors, so trying to identify, and I think some of you have done that too before, but ensuring that we can elevate those success stories and they can enable more engagement on the ground with their municipalities, province, or ecosystems in general. So I would love to hear more stories from you as well, beyond what the greatest stories that have been presented today, but just wanted to highlight we're here, we're Canadian, we're here, and we're looking forward to more of that international engagement too as part of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So.
Thank you for that. And I know we're a few minutes over, so I want to be respectful of both your time and everybody else, the other sessions. But Amelia, I know that I kind of bypassed you for a second there, so I wanted to circle back and give you the chance for the last word.
Okay, thank you. What I was missing, which some of our colleagues highlighted, is indeed that connectivity that we used to have before. So I think if you all can discuss coming back with some of the Zoom, the Slack you mentioned already. And what I've noticed from most people that you interact with, a very large group is on WhatsApp. So we were in the, Eugenia and myself, we were in the WhatsApp group from Europe. And there you get a lot of chatting and back and forth and ideas and things that you can use too. So I think those are all platforms that are handy. Another connectivity problem that, or things that you confront is we came to the Global Entrepreneurship Network, their Congress, but you left your community at home. They want to follow, they want to see stuff. So what I wanted to do was let Eugenia explain what she did, which I think was a really out-of-the-box idea so that people can see what's going on here too. So then you get them easier to connect to us, to be willing to fund, to be willing to think with you. And the last part, we brought members of our team. So then when I'm talking with them or when they're talking with me now, we now have a background idea of what's going on, what we like, what we want to do, and why. Yeah, so I don't know if you can give Eugenia 1 minute to explain what she did with her team from Curacao.
Absolutely.
I'll keep it short, Amelia. What we did is we got sponsorship last minute to get 4 young entrepreneurs here on the platform. And they were all entrepreneurs who could film and send back what's happening here daily. And we made a connection with the local TV station over there and a newspaper. So some of the features, they can pass them not on a daily basis to this week, but probably next week they're going to send a lot of features so we can engage the entrepreneurs who are working with us so they can know that GEW is bigger than us. Let me put it like that. Because they hear from us, we go to Congress, we come back, we make pictures, but they're not involved. So maybe in the future, Jen could also, make some of the presentations on Zoom or something like that. And so it could be interactive so they can see how big Jen is. But because we're telling them it's 200 countries coming, we are engaged doing a lot of things. But when, just like one of the speakers said before me, they don't see it, they don't feel it. So I think that would be very engaging for the participants, but also for your sponsors and government and so on. So I would like to say that. Thank you, Amelia.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's
welcome.
That connectivity and that kind of that global connection that we can all demonstrate in our national campaigns is very important. And I know that from a global HQ perspective, there's a lot more that we can do on that and being visible and connecting the dots. I think we can kind of set up a little bit of the processes and the framework sometimes for all of us to share information. I mean, I would love to create, whether it's a Google Drive or a Dropbox or whatever it is, like, a global repository of the best and brightest photos that we all have, because I know we're always trying to put together global collateral, right, to support GEW. But I know you all are putting together collateral to highlight your national campaigns. And if you're trying to tell a global story, you're going to want global photos from Peter in Denmark, and you're going to want them from Jorge in Panama and everybody else around the world. And so I think we could all do a better job of sharing our assets and pulling those resources together. So thank you for that. And Amelia, I can commit that we are going to be more connected. WhatsApp is the direction that we're going for all of our programming. With Slack, we found some people were really engaged with it, and we found that a lot weren't. And so I think we're onto something with WhatsApp. So we're going to give that a shot. And then we will probably through Microsoft Teams, more so than Zoom, but we'll make sure that we've got those video virtual gatherings together, and we can get you all connecting and sharing and everything else. So we will commit to doing that. So you'll hear a lot more from us in the months ahead. Thank you all for being here, for being a part of this, for sharing with us and sharing with each other. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. So thanks for being here, and enjoy the rest of your time here in Indianapolis. Thank you.